Hey gladiators, walk the commie way. One day, you'll realize your life wasn't stolen by failure. It wasn't ruined by bad luck. It was quietly traded away for a sentence so harmless it sounded responsible. I'll start next Monday. Those 4 words have buried more dreams than fear ever could. Today isn't about motivation. It's about exposing the lie that's been stealing years while pretending to give you time. Imagine a man standing at the edge of a cliff before sunrise. He isn't afraid to jump. He isn't injured. He isn't even unprepared. He simply says he'll come back on Monday. The sun rises without him. The wind keeps moving. The cliff doesn't remember his name. Life never pauses because someone promised to begin later. Monday arrives. He wakes up tired. Work is stressful. The gym feels too far away. The weather isn't right. His back hurts a little. He tells himself next Monday will be different because he'll have more energy. He believes the excuse, not because it's true, but because it protects him from facing what he's become. A week becomes a month. A month becomes a year. His body softens. His confidence disappears before anyone notices. Friends see the smile. They'd never see the silent negotiations happening inside his head. Every promise to begin tomorrow becomes another vote for the man he never wanted to become. The tragedy isn't that he failed. The tragedy is that he never truly entered the arena. He collected books instead of scars. He watched videos instead of training. He admired disciplined men while convincing himself he would become one someday. Someday became the safest place to hide because it never arrived. The ancient warriors feared comfort more than battle. They knew an enemy standing in front of you could be defeated. An enemy whispering, "You still have time," was almost impossible to recognize. That whisper doesn't scream, it smiles. It sounds patient. It sounds reasonable. That's exactly why it wins. If these words feel uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone. Every man has heard that whisper. The question is who answers it. Before we continue, subscribe if you're building the version of yourself that your future son would be proud to call his father. The next story changes everything. A young blacksmith dreamed of forging the strongest sword in the kingdom. Every morning he walked past the furnace, touched the cold iron, and whispered, "Not today. I'll start Monday." He believed waiting would make him more ready. Instead, the fire waited for no one. Dust slowly covered the steel that could have changed his life. Years later, another apprentice arrived. He knew less, owned less, and made more mistakes. His first blade bent, the second cracked, the third snapped in half. The village laughed, but every broken sword taught him something the first man could never learn. Action became his teacher. Delay remained the other's prison. One winter, the kingdom needed weapons. The master didn't choose the man with the biggest dreams. He chose the one with burned hands, scarred arms, and thousands of failed attempts behind him. Confidence wasn't born from thinking. It was hammered into existence, one imperfect strike at a time. Most men believe they need confidence before they act. Reality is far less comfortable. Confidence is the receipt, not the purchase. It comes after showing up when you're embarrassed, exhausted, and uncertain. Waiting to feel ready is like waiting for muscles before lifting the first weight. Think about the last promise you made to yourself. The workout, the business, the book, the conversation you avoided. Which one is still collecting dust? Write it in the comments. Not for me. For yourself. Sometimes seeing the truth in your own words is the first punch that wakes you up. The blacksmith finally lit his furnace. The flames rose exactly as they would have years before. The fire had never rejected him. He had rejected the fire. Most second chances don't arrive because the world changes. They arrive because one man finally decides that today deserves more respect than Monday. There was once an old fisherman who watched the tide every morning. Young men kept asking him which day held the biggest waves. He always gave the same answer: the wave you're standing in front of. Most walked away disappointed. They weren't searching for the ocean. They were searching for permission to postpone the paddle. One morning, a storm arrived without warning. The sea became violent, throwing boats against the rocks. The men waiting for the perfect Monday stayed on shore, watching opportunity disappear into the horizon. The fisherman smiled, repaired his net, and went anyway. Experience had taught him something comfort never could. Life behaves the same way. It doesn't reward perfect timing. It rewards movement. The man who starts with shaking hands will always outrun the man making flawless plans. Every champion you've admired once looked awkward, uncertain, and completely ordinary. Ask yourself a dangerous question. If Monday never existed, what would you do before the sun went down today? That answer reveals the life you've been avoiding. Excuses disappear when time becomes real. Deep down, you already know the first move. You've known it for longer than you care to admit. The fisherman never defeated the ocean. No man can. He simply stopped asking it for guarantees. That's what separated him from everyone standing safely on the beach. The strongest men aren't fearless. They just become tired of watching life happen from the shore while pretending they're waiting for the right moment. If this message feels like someone finally said what you've needed to hear, subscribe and keep walking the Kami way. Not because this channel will change your life, but because every week is another reminder that the strongest version of you is built one ordinary day at a time, never on a mythical Monday. A soldier once said, "The hardest part of war was not the enemy, it was the waiting. The hours before impact, the mind starts bargaining. Maybe it won't happen today, maybe I'll be ready tomorrow." But war never asks for readiness. It only asks who is still standing when the moment arrives. The men who survive are not the ones who felt prepared. They are the ones who stopped negotiating with fear. They moved when their hands were shaking. They acted when their voice cracked. They didn't wait for courage. They built it under pressure, one irreversible decision at a time. There is a version of you that already knows this. You felt it in quiet moments, late at night, when the noise fades and there's nothing left but your thoughts. That version doesn't ask for Monday. It doesn't ask for motivation. It asks why you keep abandoning him for comfort. Comfort is not peace. It's sedation. It doesn't heal you. It pauses you. It keeps you just numb enough to avoid change, but not alive enough to feel proud. That's the trap. Not failure, stagnation disguised as safety. The man you admire, the one you call disciplined, dangerous, unshakable, was not born that way. He was simply the man who broke the agreement with Delphus. While others were planning, he was already in motion. While others were waiting to feel ready, he was collecting proof that he could survive discomfort. So now, the question isn't whether you can change. The question is whether you will keep living like time is infinite, because it isn't. And one day, there won't be another Monday left to postpone. A man once built a routine he never followed. He wrote it in notebooks, saved it in his phone, even told people about it like it already existed. Every version of him lived in preparation. None of them lived in reality. And slowly, his identity became something he only visited in his imagination. He would say things like, "I'm just getting ready." But preparation without action is just procrastination wearing better clothes. Days turned into proof that he could think about discipline without ever touching it. The gap between intention and execution kept growing until it became a canyon. Then one morning, nothing dramatic happened. No crisis. No rock bottom. Just a normal Tuesday where he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the man who had been getting ready for years. That's how most awakenings happen. Quiet, unceremonious, brutally honest. He didn't suddenly become motivated. He became irritated, not at life, at himself. That irritation is dangerous. It doesn't need inspiration. It needs movement. So he did the smallest possible thing. He acted without announcing it. No plan. No identity shift. Just one undeniable step forward. That first step didn't change his life, but it ended something more important. It ended the agreement with delay. The version of him that waited for perfect conditions lost its authority. Another version began to take its place. Quiet, repetitive, unimpressive, real. Most men are not stuck because they lack power. They are stuck because they keep surrendering it in exchange for comfort that doesn't even satisfy them anymore. And the longer they wait, the more expensive that comfort becomes. There is a point in every man's life where the story stops being about potential and starts being about receipts. Not what you say you are, not what you plan to become, but what your days actually prove when no one is watching and no one is clapping. A fighter understands this before he ever steps into a ring. The bell does not care about his intentions. It does not pause for his excuses. It does not reward his good ideas. It only responds to preparation that was already paid for long before the first punch is thrown. That is why the most dangerous moment is not the fight itself. It is the training nobody sees. The mornings when you could have stayed in bed. The evenings when you could have drifted away. Those are the moments where identity is actually built or quietly erased. And this is where most men misunderstand discipline. They think it is a performance, something loud, something impressive. But discipline is often invisible. It is boring, repetitive, almost insulting in how simple it is. Show up. Do it again. No ceremony required. If you are waiting to feel like the kind of man who changes his life, you will be waiting inside the same life forever. The feeling always comes after the action, never before it. The order never flips, no matter how badly you wish it would. So the real question is no longer when will I start? The question becomes something colder, something clearer. What version of you is being reinforced every time you choose to wait instead of move? And are you willing to keep paying that price? There is a lie that sounds harmless until you build a life on it. I'll start next Monday. It sounds responsible, clean, organized, like a man respecting timing. But in reality, it is the most expensive delay a man can carry, because it always demands another Monday after that. You don't notice the damage at first, because nothing collapses instantly. Life doesn't punish you with noise, it subtracts slowly. A little energy gone, a little confidence lost, a little respect for yourself fading every time you postpone the version of you that was supposed to begin today. And one day, you realize you've been living inside a loop that never required courage, only repetition. Wake up, decide, delay, repeat. The same story, just different dates. That is how a man becomes familiar with his own excuses. This is why the title of this story matters. I'll start next Monday. It is not a plan. It is a pattern, and every man watching this has used it at least once, even if he refuses to admit it out loud. The shift happens when you stop treating that sentence like truth and start seeing it as a reflex, a habit of escaping discomfort disguised as organization. Because real change never announces itself on a calendar. It interrupts your excuses without permission. And the moment you see it clearly, you understand something uncomfortable. You were never waiting for Monday. You were waiting to feel like someone who deserves to begin. But that version of you only exists after you move, not before. The moment a man finally sees the pattern, something inside him breaks in a different way. Not his spirit, not his hope, the illusion. Because once you see how many times you've postponed your own life, you can't unsee it. Every next Monday starts to sound less like planning and more like surrender dressed up as control. There is no dignity in a delayed life. That is the uncomfortable truth most men avoid, not because it is cruel, but because it is honest. The longer you wait to begin, the more you train yourself to tolerate a version of you that you would never respect if you met him as a stranger. And let this be clear. I'll start next Monday is not discipline. It is avoidance with a calendar attached to it. It is the mind buying time it does not use, hoping the discomfort of change will disappear on its own. It won't. It only compounds. So the answer was never motivation. It was never timing. It was never preparation. It was interruption. The ability to interrupt your own pattern the exact moment it begins. Not tomorrow. Not after reflection. In the same breath, the excuse appears before it becomes identity. This is where everything becomes simple again. Not easy. Simple. You either continue negotiating with delay, or you stop. There is no third option where life suddenly feels perfect enough to begin. That version of reality does not exist for anyone who has ever built anything meaningful. So, hear this without noise. The man who keeps saying next Monday is not planning his future. He is practicing his absence from it. And the man who starts now, even imperfectly, even awkwardly, is already living in a different category of existence. One is preparing, the other is becoming. Everything changes the moment a man stops treating action like something he has to prepare for and starts treating it like something he refuses to negotiate. Not tomorrow, not after clarity. Now. Because clarity never arrives before movement. It arrives because of movement, and every second spent waiting is still a decision, just in the wrong direction. Identity is not something you think your way into. It is something you repeat your way into. The man you become is shaped by what you tolerate daily. If you tolerate delay, you become someone fluent in excuses. If you tolerate discomfort, you become someone dangerous in his consistency. Nothing mystical, just repetition, compounding into identity. Discipline is not emotional. It is mechanical. The same actions, repeated without applause, without motivation, without needing to feel different first. The men who change their lives are not waiting for inspiration. They are simply refusing to break the chain of effort, even when it feels meaningless in the moment. And this is the cause most people never calculate. Every postponed day is not just lost progress, it is reinforced identity. You don't stay the same when you delay. You move backwards in self-trust, slowly, quietly, until even your own promises stop meaning anything to you. If this hits you, take action, subscribe, and stay with the Kami Way. Not for entertainment, but for reminders that discomfort is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Every week is another chance to correct direction before time hardens the wrong one into regret. There will be a moment in your life when everything becomes brutally simple. No more theories, no more waiting versions of yourself. Just the life you built and the life you avoided. And in that moment, the only thing that will matter is whether you finally stop delaying the man you were capable of becoming. Not later. Not eventually. The moment you heard this, walk the Kami Way.